is so easy. It's so easy to buy into human wisdom because it makes sense. And let me tell you, God's wisdom doesn't always make sense. You want to know why? Because his ways are higher than our ways, and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And if he always made sense, let me just tell you something, he wouldn't be God. If I can figure them all out, if I can put them in a nice little box like that. See, let me just say this. As the body of Christ, the bride of Christ, many of us, if you confess Christ, let me tell you this. You have to be careful whose voice you give permission to enter into your life. Because there's way too many of us. We listen to way too many voices. You listen to the person at work. Oh, it sounds so good. You listen to her or him on the talk show. Oh, that sounds right. I mean, and many of you, you're going to get back in your cars today and listen to music that contradicts the wisdom of God that was shared to you today. And you're going to flip on the TV or you're going to watch a movie that says, oh, that's the way love works. Human wisdom. But many times God's wisdom is not human wisdom. Let me tell you this. It does not make sense. It's not human wisdom. It doesn't make sense for a man named Abraham to pack up everything that he ever owned, to move to a land that he's never even seen because a God that he doesn't even know told him to go. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for a man named Moses to hold out a stick over an ocean and expect it to part. You know what I'm saying? Like, who came up with that plan? It doesn't make sense for Joshua to lead the army around the walls 7 times and shout and expect to get victory over a fortified city. What? Stop. You know how it works. Imagine you're not Joshua, okay? Joshua's calling the pre-battle meeting, all right? Hey, Joshua, what's the plan, man? We going to starve them out? We're going to throw fire over the walls? What are we going to do? We're going to poison the water? No, guys, here's the plan. Here's what we're going to do. All right, come here. All right, we're going to walk around the city 7 times. And at the end, we're going to shout. And you're like, and then we throw the fire? Or no, that's it. We're going to shout, and we're going to blow some trumpets, too. It's going to work. We're going to get the video. What? We're going to walk around there just shoot arrows at us the whole time. Whose dumb idea is that? We're going to walk around a fortified city with the biggest walls in the history of mankind. Okay, all right, you know. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for a man named Elijah to pick a fight with 450 demon prophets of Baal and expect fire to come down on a mountain. It doesn't make sense for a guy named Peter to get out of a boat and to expect to actually walk on the water. It's not wisdom for God to be born in a feeding trough. It's not wisdom for God to hang out with prostitutes. It's not wisdom for God to die on a cross. But thank God his wisdom is not our wisdom. And man's wisdom is oftentimes God's foolishness. And let me tell you, you need to know this. Oftentimes, God's wisdom is man's foolishness. Because God's going to call you to do some really foolish things. You're going to have to go out on a limb. Because that's where real life is found. God's wisdom. God's wisdom. It would be different if our goal was to be successful in the eyes of the world. But it's not. Our goal is to be successful in the eyes of the only one who really matters. The only one. Let me just tell you this: if you're going down a path and you don't know why it's not successful, you don't know why it's not fulfilling, because it's not God's path. God's path is always fulfilling. Always fulfilling. It may be dangerous. You may have question marks. It may not make sense, but God's way always satisfies. God's wisdom.